Good evening, folks. Welcome to this week's episode of Beer Rating with Sean Connors. As you can see, the beer I have this week is a local cream ale. Now, cream ale is a style of beer I used to enjoy quite a bit back in the day. However, I haven't had one in, I'd say, 10, 15 years, if not longer. Now, as I said, this is a local one. This is Yellowbelly Brewery here in St. John's, Newfoundland. Rather unique name, Yellowbelly. What it is, it's back in the day. The building that the brewery is in is one of the oldest buildings in North America, and the corner was known as Yellowbelly Corner, and that name came from some immigrants from, go back a little bit, basically in Ireland, in Wexford, there was a hurling match. It was against the locals and I think an English team, and basically to distinguish themselves, the boys from Wexford put a yellow piece of cloth around their midsections. They won the game, and the king at the time said something like, "Congratulations to the Yellowbellies," and the name kind of stuck. And then a bunch of the boys immigrated to Newfoundland, and they used to wear the same sash to distinguish themselves, and they hung out at that corner, became Yellowbelly Corner. Fast forward to the early 2000s, like 2006, 2008, the brewery opened, and they used the name Yellowbelly. Alright, so let's see. The name of the beer is YYT Yellowbelly East Coast Cream Ale. Now, YYT is the airport code for here in St. John's, Newfoundland. It's 5.0% alcohol. It says, a novel take on a classic style, this cream ale utilizes significant corn and wheat in addition to Pils malt, unusually and heavily dried hop with mosaic hops. It's hop forward, fruity grapefruit, but not bitter, easy to approach. It says excellent with the company of others, unpasteurized, and it says may throw as natural sediment. So you make a little bit of sediment in the bottom, and that's about it. Contrary to the name cream ale, there is actually no cream or any other milk products. There's actually different styles of cream ale. They say the traditional and the non-traditional, and in the UK, it has to do with the beer is nitrogen is added, so it gives it more of a creamy head, and that's where in the UK, that's where the name comes from. Alright, so let's pour it up and see what we got. See if I enjoy this one as much as I did other cream ales in the past. And they say actually, although it's an ale, they say many breweries actually use lager yeast, or they'll use a combination of lager and ale yeast. Alright, so nice and clear. A little bit of, well, actually quite substantial head, nice golden color. It's definitely got the ale aroma. If you're not quite sure what I mean by that, actually get a lager and get an ale, put a pale ale, say, and put them together, and you can notice the difference in the aroma. To me, this one tastes kind of hoppy, almost like a little kind of light IPA kind of thing. It says heavily dried hops, so that might be it. And if anybody's watched my past reviews, I'm not a big IPA person. I'm kind of trying to stay away from them for the next little while, only because as being not being an IPA fan, I find it's hard for me to give a true fair rating. All right, let's give it a taste. Pretty good. I said it's kind of, this aroma reminds me of an IPA, definitely not the taste. You can taste the hops. Not a lot, but it's definitely there. Yeah, you can definitely smell the hops for sure. For me, I smell them more than I taste them. It's tasty, it's enjoyable. My ratings, as usual, are out of 5. A 1 being a drain pour. That means I don't like it, can't finish. I'm literally going to pour it down the drain. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. A 2 would be, yeah, I'm not a big fan, but I'll finish it. I don't want to waste the beer. A 3 would be a good beer, a 4 would be a very good beer, and a 5 would be the heavens opened up and God himself handed me a beer. Never happened, hopefully someday. Now this one, I'm kind of thinking offhand, possibly a 3, which means it's a good beer. Can't see being lower than a 3. Possibly a 3.5. For me, it's not quite a 4. And these ratings, by all means, these are just my personal preferences. No science or anything else. I either like them or I don't. I am enjoying it, but to be totally honest, it's not the cream ale that I remember from 15, 20 years ago. And I never, the one I had back then, it wasn't this one. It was a different brewery altogether. Totally honest, the name of the brewery is right at the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. They were out of Ontario, Canada. They started off like a small brewery, and I believe one of the big players, Labatt's or Molson, one of those guys bought them out. Bit of a shame, but that happens. All right, another taste. I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. I was leaning towards a 3, but every mouthful I take, I'm taking big mouthfuls, and obviously if I'm doing that, I'm obviously enjoying it. So I'm going to take one more sip. I'm leaning towards a 3.5. Another thing, if anybody knows, the beer in my glass, as I drink it, you'll see I'm kind of getting like rings of foam on the glass. You see that there? The rings of foam. That's known as lacing. And that's a sign of a clean glass. And that's important when you're having a beer. You want to make sure the glass is really clean. If you're not getting that lacing at all, you probably got a dirty glass. And it could be something, it could be lipstick on the glass, it could be dust on the glass, it could be anything. So you always want to make sure you have a really, really clean glass. With the, they actually have special soaps that they recommend for beer glasses and whatnot. I don't go that far. However, I do give them a good wash. And actually, before I pour any beer, I have a glass rinser. So I also give it a little quick rinse. That's to cool down the glass instead of putting it in the freezer, which they don't recommend. So it cleans the glass, and it also cools the glass. So it's important to make sure you have a clean glass. And if you're getting the lacing, as I just mentioned, you're going to, you have a clean glass. Actually, the more I drink that, the more I'm enjoying it, so I'm confident now that I'm going to stick with the 3.5. So that's in between a good beer and a very good beer. So by all means, if you're in the area, check it out. And that's a strong 3.5. I'm kind of tempted to go for 4. I don't do anything other than full numbers or half numbers. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the 3.5. With that being said, that's a strong 3.5. And for me, that's a good rating. So by all means, if you're in the area in Newfoundland, pick one up. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I have. So there you go, folks, for the Yellowbelly's YYT East Coast Cream Ale 3.5. Until next brew, as always, enjoy responsibly. Cheers.